Good day there viewers, my name is Cliff and welcome to my channel called Vintage Time. Today me and my little buddy went out looking for gemstones and I was fortunate enough to find a lovely piece of golden labradorite. However, my little buddy Jaws found nothing at all, but in time, with a little bit of training and a little bit of guidance, Jaws will find some lovely gems of her own. Obviously Jaws is finding something very amusing. However Jaws, you may not realise this, but for many people, finding gems and cutting gems is a very serious business. As for me, I'm not that serious, and it's all about the fun of finding gemstones and cutting gemstones. Also, this will be a fun, playful type of video that hopefully inspires people to want to get out there and learn how to cut gemstones. So let's get cracking as I cut this wonderful piece of golden labradorite into hopefully what will be a wonderful gem. So before I even start the facet, I need to preform the rough gem to a desired shape that I wish to cut. In this case, I'm going to be cutting a modified Portuguese cut. So the preform is now complete, and as you can see from this direction, which will be the crown of the gem, it's definitely going to be a round design. Now this particular piece of rough material, I could have cut an oval shape or an eye shape, but I will always choose a round design over those type of shapes because they scintillate more and give more return. So this phase of the faceting process is where we have to glue the preformed gem to a brass dopstick. So as you saw in the previous scene, I used a transfer jig to do this, and this is a really important process because you need to centre the stone correctly so you don't lose too much material, and also you have to use proper glues or adhesives. So it's really important to use a good quality glue or adhesive when gluing the gem to a dopstick. And one of the things we'll be talking today for beginners or those people who've faceted for a long time is preparation. That will be the key word and define you as a good faceter. So I'm getting ready to put the dopstick into the quill of the faceting machine and then lock it in. But I want to talk about the word preparation. Let's face it, there's a myriad of things that can go wrong even when you're fully prepared, and it doesn't matter if you're a master faceter or a novice, but there are things we can do to minimise the risk. So the first step in preparation is to make sure you have clean, tidy work habits. The first step before you start a project is clean the debris out of your pan, make sure all the components on your faceting machine are working as they should, and also clean the mast of your faceting machine by using lubricants. Also, and this is an important step, make sure your workspace is clean. Wipe it down from any contaminants because contamination will destroy a stone within a heartbeat. So later on I'll mention a few more preparatory steps in how you can become a better faceter. But first of all, I'm going to round out this gem and do a bit of cutting. So stand by and watch the process of this gem being cut. So I'm about to start cutting the pavilion facets, and I'm cutting my first set, and the angle is set at 60 degrees, and I'll be cutting 16 facets, and they will be at intervals of 4. So the first index setting is at 2, and then I'll move it along to number 6, then number 10, number 14, 18, 22, etc., all the way up to 62. So another aspect about preparation, and particularly technique, is to always hold the gem when you're cutting and grinding. This is a really important thing. In fact, a member of my gem club saw me on a video when I wasn't holding the gem quite properly. I was holding it by the dot higher up because I was trying to get the right camera angle. And there is a reason that you need to always hold the gem properly, is to protect it and give it support when you're grinding. Notice that I'm holding the gem with the thumb and first finger on the sides. The first finger is protecting the gem from hitting the spindle. In fact, it would be my finger hitting the spindle, not the gem, if that was to happen. And my thumb can't go any further back, as it just lightly touches the back of the tray, so it can never slip off the edge of the disc. So 16 girdle facets have been cut at 90 degrees, and now I'm going to polish them on a Perspex disc with 50,000 diamond paste. Now, just a little clue to help you out when polishing the girdle: set the girdle angle at around 89.5, and then you only have to polish part of the girdle, as you can see now. So once again I've got the transfer jig out and I have to glue a cone dopstick to the pavilion of the gem. Another aspect of good preparation is using quality adhesives to glue the dopstick to the gem. I use DevCon, but there are various others like Aerodite or Loctite. Avoid buying cheap adhesives like Gorilla Epoxies or Tarzan Grip or cheap super glue. You want the glue to bond so tight that it's almost impossible that it will detach. When gluing the pavilion into a cone dopstick, I recommend that you place as much glue into the cone. This will protect the culet later on when you detach the gem. Also try to apply as much glue around the pavilion almost up to the girdle line because you want as much adhesion as possible. In the following scenes you'll see me cut the crown facets, and in many ways it's very similar to cutting the pavilion. The first set of crown facets tend to be the most difficult because you need to create a girdle line. Creating a perfect girdle outline can be one of the most challenging and difficult aspects of faceting, and one of the problems many people face is that they get staircasing when they cut the girdle. So here's a little tip to help you out. When you think you've reached the required depth of your girdle outline or the thickness of your girdle, from that moment on do not try to use your mast. Leave the height of the mast exactly where it is and use hand pressure alone to push down on any girdle facets that tend to be a little bit out of place. Sometimes you may have to use a cheater left or right, but do not touch that rotating dial on the mast because that will create that staircase effect. In the following scenes I will be cutting the table, and then in sequential order after the table's cut I'll be polishing the crown facets, and polishing the crown facets is exactly the same as polishing the pavilion facets. As a side note, a lot of people ask what type of gem should I learn to cut on, and I believe topaz is one of the best gems to learn on. It's easy to cut, easy to polish, and one of the things you want to avoid is cutting glass because it chips, it's difficult to polish because it scratches easy, and when you spend thousands of dollars on a faceting machine you want to be faceting gems. Glass has no value at all. In the following scenes I'll be polishing the crown facets from the girdle all the way back to the polished table, and the reason I'm polishing from the girdle in this case is because I want to squeeze down on the facets as I polish towards that table, and this will create perfect meet points. Someone said a while ago, why do you polish the table first? And the reason being is that I've just cut the table and it makes sense to leave that 45-degree adapter within the quill, grab a polishing disc and just leave the setting as it is. The minute I take that dop out of the quill, the settings are altered and then I've got to reset the machine accordingly. So we're getting closer to the end of this video, and I'd like to thank all my subscribers and those people who take the time to watch my videos. Please leave comments and I'll try to get back to you. Also, I'd like to thank Jaws for her cameo roles. She's very helpful. And if you want to watch future videos, please click the bell icon to receive future videos, and stand by for the final reveal. I think this gem will look pretty good. So take care everybody, and until next time, I'll see you again.